Hey, all my little ponies out there. I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I'm back with another My Little Pony Friendship is Magic episode review. This time it's Season 9's Episode 17, titled The Summer Sun Setback. And we are in the midst of the Summer Sun Festival, which is a celebration of, well, originally it was a celebration of when Celestia defeated Luna and banished her to the moon. Then it became a festival of the rejoining of the two sisters after, years of separation. And now it's Twilight's turn in order to, set up that celebration. However, there's a bit of a cog in the wheel, as we'll soon see, as Grogar is getting ready to, look for a new form of power since the Legion of Doom, as it were, weren't able to retrieve his bell. He's looking for something else that'll give him the power to take down the likes of Twilight Sparkle and her friends. So as Grogar sets out, the other members actually, showing that they still don't trust Grogar because, well, they're villains and, they wouldn't trust some themselves, so of course they don't trust him. So they want to find some way in order to activate the bell for their own needs and use its power to strengthen themselves. That way, once Grogar dominates Twilight and her friends, they'll have the power to dominate him in the end. They realize that the best thing that they could possibly use in order to find out information on how to take down Grogar and use the bell is within the Canterlot Library, I believe. And that's deep within the bowels of the palace. So they decide to set out and, find that information. Meanwhile, as Twilight is planning the Summer Sun Festival, in comes Luna and Celestia to see how she's doing, only for us to actually find out she feels very confident about all this. She's actually finally learned her lesson about not freaking out. She's planned everything, she's gotten everything prepared, and she's actually managing everything to the fullest of her abilities. No twilighting whatsoever. However, Celestia and Luna let her know that this might very well be the last Summer Sun Festival, as, they have fully decided to retire after this point. At least in a very short amount of time. And they plan to fully hand things over to Twilight moving forward. They feel that, with this display of restraint and understanding and what she's gone through, what she's learned up until this point, she's fully ready to take over leading all of Equestria. And, as they hand back over the medallion that we saw previously, all of her friends are kind of cautious because they feel like, is Twilight going to start freaking out? Is she going to start, completely breaking down, twilighting yet again and all that good stuff? But, much to their surprise, Twilight feels that she's got this. That she's finally ready to understand and prepare for what comes next, basically. Although she does have a few more tasks for her friends, since now, they have to readjust things in regard to the sisters no longer being there. And, at first, Discord is all too ready for, the mayhem and chaos of last-minute preparations, because that's Twilight's bread and butter, just freaking out over something like that. But she comes up with all these minor little cue cards, just minor adjustments, with nothing really major going on for the most part. Much to Discord's dismay, but he joins in and, poofs everyone to their destination later down the line, as he's just like, well, something will probably come up later down the line. With him not showing too much faith in terms of, Twilight managing to handle herself. Meanwhile, Chrysalis, Cozy Glow, and Tyrek, infiltrate Canterlot, ready to, get ready and find the library, but they notice that there's a lot more ponies around than normal. And Cozy Glow lets them know that, it's because of the Summer Sun Festival. And I love Chrysalis's comment about the fact that it's just like, how many, festivals do you ponies have? You know, it's kind of like hobbits. They always have some kind of festivities going about. They also notice the increased defenses, that Shining Armor set up and put into place that actually proved to be like, okay, yeah, we can't really get around that. Although, Chrysalis goes about transforming, thinking that she'll manage to get in through that. However, she's unable to actually get in through the door, noticing that it's only with the use of the pendants and medallions that, anyone's actually able to get in. And since hers isn't actually real, she can't get within the castle gates, much of their dismay. They then notice that, Discord poofed the other ponies, into the square to go about their tasks. And, as we see that everyone splits up into these groups of 2 in order to, get everything underway, they realize that, okay, we might be able to use the, with all the ponies running around, all of Twilight's friends just running about, this might be harder than we expected. But Chrysalis sees this as an opportunity. With all of them running around and being in a bit of a rush and a panic, that will create the best opportunity for them to disrupt things, creating a bit of a diversion. So as Pinkie Pie and Applejack go about talking with Brayburn to get some new cookies underway, Tyrek, sets about draining the life force out of various ponies. And as Brayburn goes about investigating, he as well gets drained. And, he tells everyone, okay, there's got to be something wrong with the food, and that sends everyone there into a panic, as Tyrek goes about stealing some of the food as well. Meanwhile, as Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy go about meeting up with the Pegasus in charge of the weather control and weather alterations of Feather Flatterfly, I think it is, Feather Flatterfly, why would you do that to me? Why would you make this alliteration that's just gonna jumble me up? Like, Feather Flatterfly and Fluttershy had a fairly fun time. Just, my tongue hurts already. But he's a bit of a neurotic pony, just immediately panicking at the thought of altering, all his best laid plans. And he starts to kind of hyperventilate for the most part. But once he's alone, in comes Cozy Glow saying, oh, well, I'll take care of all the minor preparations for you. That way you can focus more on the big picture. Using her, little cutesy innocent act in order to kind of, get Feather Flatterfly's guard down for the most part. Meanwhile, Rarity and Spike meet up with the Fire Flare fireworks troupe, who have everything in preparation. But when they come in with the alterations, Fire Flare is all too willing to, get a new routine up to snuff, because she's just like, okay, yeah, we're definitely up to, a challenge like that. But in comes the transformed Chrysalis, being like, oh yes, your performance is all great and everything, but, you're unicorns. You're the most powerful species of pony on all of Equestria. There's so much more that you could be doing with your magical abilities. And, they actually start to consider that, which is just like, wow, like, this feels like an uprising more than anything else, just like that thought. I'm just like, dude, what the heck? Like, that took a bigger turn than most of the other ponies, honestly. Meanwhile, everything seems to be all up to snuff and ready to go. And Twilight is all too happy because it's just like, oh, everything's come together, everything's all ready, everything came into place, and it shows that, oh, okay, not worrying and stressing over things was the best way to go about things. And, Celestia and Luna also come in, this time actually doing the responsible thing and just like, how about we have you practice using the medallion to raise the sun and the moon this time around? Which is just like, yes, exactly. You should have done that from the start. Don't just throw her into the deep end without any kind of explanation. But, everyone's all too happy that Twilight seems to be taking everything in stride. She's really come into her own. Discord remains unimpressed. Only for Brayburn to come in saying that the food seems to be, poisoned and everyone's gotten sick. One of the sentries come in saying that the weather has gone amok and awry, and Fireflare and her troop come in saying that they will no longer be regulated to paltry fireworks displays. Their capabilities are too impressive and widespread for that kind of menial display. When they look outside, they see the chaos, the panic, the pandemonium going on outside, and immediately they hide it from Twilight. And I love that even Discord gets in on that, because it's just like, okay, no, like even he knows that, this could be a bad situation. But, they hide it from her, and when Applejack, being the, embodiment of honesty, is just like, why in the heck did we not tell her about what's going on outside? Everyone rationalizes that, Twilight's come so far, and she's, managed to get this far. They don't want her to regress. They don't want to cause an incident where she starts freaking out again, and she ends up regressing on all the things that she's, managed to feel like she's accomplished for the most part. And when they ask Discord to hopefully bring in a miracle for them, for getting everything back into place, that's not Discord's style. Discord is all about, chaos and pandemonium, and not really helping them in situations where it's just like, well, you're her friends. You're always capable and able to do all these various great achievements, so you should be able to do it without me. Bye-bye. And, much to their dismay, they do say, okay, yeah, we probably should at least be able to manage this on our own. Well, they still wonder what could have possibly happened. Meanwhile, Applejack and Pinkie Pie investigate all the food and such, but they find nothing, out of the ordinary, because Pinkie Pie ate a good chunk of the food as well, and she's fine. Meanwhile, Cozy Glow and T-Rick, ambush one of the guards, and they use his medallion in order to infiltrate, as Rainbow Dash does her best in order to get all the bad weather. Rainbow Dash and the Wonderbolts do their best in order to get all the bad weather under control, while Fluttershy does her best to console Feather, Flatter, Fly. God, that fucking name! Meanwhile, Cozy Glow goes about investigating and trying to find the library, but one of the alarm geese notices them, the Legion of Doom, and goes on the chase, as Rainbow Dash does her best in order to kind of talk things over with Fireflare. The geese ends up actually being tricked by a transformed Chrysalis, diverting his attention, as, Cozy Glow picks the lock to the library. And unfortunately, at some point they were going to come outside. All the princesses come out, discussing how well the preparation seems to be going, only for Discord to, let it be known that, oh, I'm just sitting around waiting for the chaos, as that goes underway, as she sees Pinkie Pie trying to get all the food preparations ready, Rarity trying to talk down the Fireflare dance fireworks troupe and all that good stuff, and honestly a lot of other Pegasi who feel like, oh yeah, we should be like the more prominent creatures in all of Equestria. We have all this great magical power, like a serious unicorn uprising. Like, Jesus, like, that's ridiculous. and Fluttershy trying to get Feather Flatterfly under control and to get his job underway. And when Twilight goes to ask Applejack, she gets pissed because nobody listened to her, when she's just like, okay, yeah, we should have lied in the first place, it just caused more problems. And when Twilight goes to confront them about what's going on, they exposit that, oh, we just didn't want to worry you about how everything kind of went to pot. And she's just like, well, did you not think I was gonna freak out still when I found out? And as Discord is all too ready to see another signature Twilight freakout, Twilight doesn't do that. She takes a nice deep breath and she's just like, okay, you know what we need to do is just create a list of things, in order to solve this. I'm great at making lists. I love, making stuff like that. And that's the best way to get all this under control. And even the princesses say that they'll lend a hand, feeling that, Twilight has shown such growth. They'd be wrong not to actually follow her lead, as she is the new ruler of Equestria. So everyone goes about consoling and, helping out the various Apple family get the preparation underway. Rainbow Dash and the other ponies, other Pegasi get a lot of the cloud coverage cleaned up, and, Twilight and, Rarity come up with a new plan for Fireflare and her troop in terms of entertainment and, all the celebrations and fireworks stuff. Meanwhile, the Legion gets underneath into the library and the archives, and they manage to find the book that will allow them to, learn how to access the powers of Grogar. And so as the festivities get underway, we see that Fireflare and her troop actually create this depiction on the moon back when Luna was the mayor on the moon and all that good stuff. So a nice display of their power for the most part. Meanwhile, Pinkie Pie, gets the fireworks under display because, she has her whole, party cannon and all that good stuff. So of course she would be the best for, fireworks and all that kind of stuff, which I love how positively giddy she is over that. And, seeing this great display, Celestia and Luna take a lot of pride in just how well Twilight was able to get things under control. As the, Summer Sun celebration gets underway, and she, goes about raising the sun, and it's a great display. She manages to pull it off flawlessly. Like, there you go, Twilight. You are ready. It is this moment that Twilight proves that she is ready to lead all of Equestria. As she, sets about the, speech she prepared, where she talks about the fact that, no longer will there be a summer sun celebration from this point forward, shocking the crowd, but to the shock of Celestia and Luna, she declares a new holiday. A holiday to honor Celestia and Luna and all they had done for them in the past. And that's to create a festival of the two sisters. To forever remember the two, alicorns who have done all for the whole of Equestria, much to the delight of Celestia and Luna, who, are very proud of everything that Twilight has done. And honestly, I don't, that's it. Twilight has really just come into her own and really shown that she is fully capable of leading and ruling. And while her friends go about, apologizing for not trusting Twilight in the fact that she said, oh, she had everything under control, they didn't really believe her, and they feel bad for not. But, Twilight admits that, in the past she's shown them reasons to doubt, but she's just glad that everything worked out, and it's because of her friends that everything did work out, because they were there for her to help her out, and that's the only reason she was able to actually take pride and actually do what needed to be done, because she learned to delegate. And that was the biggest part of becoming the next ruler of Equestria. So we get this nice little happy ending to things, with even Discord, having a knowing saying of being like, well, okay. You've actually managed to show that you're probably ready for whatever might come your way, no matter what it might be. So it's obvious Discord knows a thing or two about what's coming, but he's always been the advocate of Twilight being able to handle this. That's the one thing. It's just like, listen, you defeated me. You've defeated everything that's come upon you up until this point. You've got this. No worries, no, panicking. You understand what needs to be done. A very Discord thing to do. It's like, that's why whenever someone complains about the fact that Discord didn't involve himself, I'm just like, because he feels no need to. He knows how this show works. He knows things will work out in the end. The Discord is one of the most powerful beings in all of Equestria, and they managed to best him at every turn. He understands what needs to be done. He understands that Twilight will dominate whatever comes her way. Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom, Grogar says that he did manage to find a great source of power, and he's all too ready to, go after it the next day. And it's just like, oh, you just sit and wait and I'll get all the preparations underway. Then we will rule all of Equestria. And while Tyrek is mad that he had to give back all the power he siphoned because, that would clue Grogar in on things, and Cozy Glow's a little upset about the fact that the festival still managed to get underway despite all their interference. Well, they still managed to get the object that they were after. So it's only a matter of time before they manage to pull one over on Grogar. Although Cozy Glow does comment on the fact of how easy it was to turn the various races against each other, something that Chrysalis has taken note of, and feels that it's something to consider later down the line. Woof! Are we about to get into a pony race war up in here? Time will tell, but this is kind of episodes that I really wanted to see, for the longest time, and I'm glad we're actually getting. It's unfortunate it's so late into things, but I'm really enjoying all these stories with the Legion of Doom. Because it's just like, yes, show us the personalities of the villains and all that good stuff. I'm also kind of becoming not as surprised that Sombra wasn't included on things, because he was just too vain to be on this kind of a team. Cozy Glow showed she was willing to work with Tyrek before. Tyrek had already been in a bad enough place that, of course, he was willing to work with Cozy Glow if only to get back to the people. And, Chrysalis comes from a hive. She's used to working with others, although it's usually in commanding them, so she's used to working with others. But someone like Sombra, nah, I couldn't see him being a part of this. And it makes sense that he ended up being taken out of the picture later down the line. But I'm loving these guys. It's fun to see them at every turn just being mean, evil, and nasty. It's like Team Rocket for the most part, but at least a little more successful. They actually manage to come out on top a lot of the times, and their machinations are slowly coming into play. And I'm really interested to see where this all leads up to. Where will the Legion of Doom manage to pull one over on Grogar? Does Grogar have something else up his sleeve? Who will be the real ultimate villain of the final season of My Little Pony? Tell me your thoughts and theories in the comment section below. Tell me if you liked this video, leave me a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave me a dislike and tell me what I did wrong in the comment section below. Subscribe and hit the bell icon, that way you never miss out on another My Little Pony Friendship is Magic episode review. Up until the end, baby. And if you want to find me on social media, just Google Duuz-Diz-Din. I'm everywhere, for better or for worse. And until the next video, just remember that no matter the setback, as long as you have friends who are willing to help you out, no matter what it is, good, evil, no matter what, it's the people around you who will help you achieve your goals. Until next time, I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I think I need a nap. Bye-bye.